Today, we're tackling something that so many women deal with, weight management. But we're going to skip the usual advice, the eat less, move more stuff. Instead, we're diving deep into the hidden biological drivers. I'm talking about hormones and how they can be the real game changer.
Okay, let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You are doing everything right. You're eating clean, you're hitting the gym, you're checking all the boxes. And yet, the scale just will not budge. It's maddening, right? Well, that kind of frustration is a huge clue that the real issue might not be about willpower at all. It's often about your biology.
Yeah, for so many women, trying to lose weight feels like you're trying to solve this impossible puzzle. And that whole calories in, calories out idea, it's just one tiny piece. A massive, and I mean massive, piece that often gets ignored is this incredibly complex hormonal story that's playing out inside you. These hormones are calling the shots on everything from your energy to where your body decides to hang on to fat.
So if we're going to solve this puzzle, we need to get to know the main characters, and those are your hormones. Seriously, think of them as the managers of your body's entire operating system. Every single second, they're making these huge decisions that have a direct line to your weight.
All right, first up, let's talk about insulin. Now, you probably know it has to do with blood sugar, right? But here's the kicker. It's also your body's main storage manager. So if your insulin levels are high all the time, it's basically shouting orders to your body to stop burning fat for fuel and start packing it away.
And then there's cortisol. You've probably heard of it, the stress hormone. And let's be real, in the crazy high-stress world we live in, having constantly high cortisol is a huge problem. Why? Because it has a very specific instruction for your body. Store fat, especially right around your belly.
Now, what about appetite? Well, that's run by this duo of hormones that are always talking to each other. You've got ghrelin. Think of it as the go hormone, the one that makes your stomach growl and screams, "Feed me!" Then you have leptin, the stop hormone. It's the one that gently tells your brain, "Okay, we're good. You can put the fork down." When those two aren't communicating well, you can see how that's a recipe for trouble. And the list goes on. We've also got your thyroid hormones. These guys are basically the thermostat for your metabolism. They decide how fast or slow you're burning calories. And of course, we can't forget estrogen and progesterone. They have a huge say in where you store fat and what your cravings. And you know this from your monthly cycle or from big life shifts like after having a baby or during perimenopause. So you can see how all these hormones are supposed to work together, like a perfectly tuned orchestra. But what happens when one instrument is out of tune? Well, the whole symphony falls apart. An imbalance in even one of these key hormones can completely derail all your hard work. Let's look at some real-world cause and effect here. If your thyroid is underactive, your metabolism just slows to a crawl. If your cortisol is always high, that's where that stubborn belly fat comes from. And those big shifts in estrogen and progesterone? Hello, intense cravings and water retention. If you're nodding along to any of this, you're not imagining things, you're seeing what a hormonal imbalance actually feels like. Okay, but here's the good news. This is absolutely not a life sentence. The most empowering thing is that once you understand the problem, you can start using the right tools to fix it. So let's open up that toolkit and see how we can bring things back into harmony. It really boils down to 4 key areas or pillars. First, a diet packed with nutrient-dense whole foods. That's key for managing insulin. Second, smart exercise. Things like strength training are amazing for both insulin and cortisol. Third, and this is a big one, quality sleep. It's non-negotiable if you want to keep that appetite duo, ghrelin and leptin, in check. And finally, getting a handle on your stress. That directly targets cortisol. But, and this is so important, remember that your body is unique. Your hormonal blueprint is yours alone. So while these pillars are fantastic starting points, the best thing you can do is talk to a healthcare provider. They can help you figure out what's really going on and create a plan that's made just for you. Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, but what does it actually look like in real life? Let's dive into a couple of success stories, because honestly, there's nothing more motivating than seeing how this kind of awareness can totally change the game for real people. All right, meet Jane. She's 38, and for years she was stuck, doing all the right things, getting 0 results. But then she made a shift, and she lost 15 pounds in only 6 months. So what changed? What was her secret? Well, it turns out her big hurdles were super high cortisol from stress and insulin resistance creeping in. So instead of just working out harder, she started focusing on managing her stress and changing her diet to keep her blood sugar stable. And boom, that's what finally broke the plateau. See, it wasn't about more effort, it was about a smarter strategy. Okay, next up is Maria. She's 45, and she was convinced her metabolism had just packed its bags and left. She thought weight gain was just something she had to accept. But then she lost 12 pounds in 4 months. So how'd she do it? Maria's breakthrough was a 1-2 punch. She got professional help and discovered she had an underlying thyroid issue. She combined the medical treatment for that with her own smart lifestyle changes. And that powerful combo was exactly what she needed to fire up her metabolism again. All her hard work finally started to count. And really, what all of this leads to is a huge shift in how you think about your body. It stops being about just the number on the scale. Understanding your hormones gives you the power to finally work with your body instead of feeling like you're constantly fighting against it. You know, there's a great quote from the material we looked at for this, and it just nails it. It says that recognizing the impact of hormones empowers women to be more informed and strategic. And I'd add, it also lets you be a lot kinder and more compassionate with yourself along the way. So that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Now that you have this knowledge, what's one small step, just one, that you can take on your journey to hormonal balance? Because that first, tiny step, that's where everything starts to change.